Evening, people. We are back again. Crystal Palace have had a brilliant season. We're here to do the Crystal Palace season review 21-22. I've got my dad here. What a season it's been.
Yeah,
Been a real
really good
rocky
one.
season.
Yeah,
You know,
I've been
a lot of ups, a lot of downs,
yeah,
but a real enjoyable one.
yeah. I've been surprised, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure about Vieira when he joined the club, so that wrong. Bit of a Roy fan, but in hindsight, good thing
Best
that
thing
we
that
we
best thing we
changed
ever
him.
did.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
So he was good when he joined, and he got us out of a hole. So Vieira's come in and just been so more positive,
Exactly.
and it's just been a great season watching Palace. To be honest with you, I mean, I really enjoyed myself. To be honest with you, it's just been a great
Especially
season.
after what we had, like we've been through during COVID and that.
Yeah,
Before that,
yeah,
like 18 months of watching football.
yeah,
Last game of the season when Roy left, we came back against Arsenal. Yeah, we lost that, but it was good to be back. And then the season that's just finished now. God
yeah,
knows how many away games you've been to and the
yeah.
amount of home
It's
games that we've been
it's
to and
like
that as well.
it's like
And Wembley.
we've had like a couple of
Yeah.
years of sort of down football, and we just had this release of life this season. So really happy about the way that we've been playing. So
Yeah.
good positive football all round. To be honest with you.
By the way, before we get on with the rest of the stream and that, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. We're currently not that far off 2K subscribers, so if we can keep pushing and getting more subscribers, and that'll be really good. Follow me on my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Snapchat. And if you watch my last video, there should be a link for my TikTok as well. So check that out. Make sure you can go and follow me on that as well. Feel free to put any questions in the live chat. I've got some questions on Instagram which I'm going to answer as well from my story. But we're gonna get straight into it.
We've got some questions coming. So
go ahead.
right, what would I improve at Crystal Palace? So, well, with the club or with the team, I think we need to improve our goalkeeping. I think we need get a goalkeeper in there. A centre forward.
Someone that's a clinical finisher.
I mean, I like to.
We've been missing.
First of all, I want to just say hats off to Mateta. I know when he joined, he put his foot in his mouth and stuff like that. But the guy started working really hard. He just needs to be a bit more sort of clinical in the box. But I think that's sort of where we need to improve. And we've got to sort of look at a replacement. I think for MacArthur. I mean, off the pitch, got to try and do something about the stadium. I don't know what, but that's I think what we've got to improve. Keep the youngsters coming in.
Yeah, I mean, we got the likes of Raksaki, who I thought was really good.
Yeah,
not just going forward and dribbling and that, but him tracking back.
Yeah,
he was so just on it.
Yeah.
It was always his number one priority ahead of attacking. You would always feel like at times, and you really appreciate that from a youngster, especially making a debut against Man United at home. Also, Scott Banks, he played at the beginning of the season, pre-season, scored a lot of goals in training, and that I was very impressed with him. I was quite disappointed he didn't make an appearance this season, but Vieira did say he wasn't ready, so that he is the manager, of course, so that is fair enough. Also, Adaramola as well, who is the left back that played against Stoke. He's another young player that's been breaking through at times this season. So would be nice to see him feature in a lot of games throughout the new season and that coming up.
I think as well we're improving as well. I think we really sort of need to. It'd be nice that we look forward. So instead of us thinking, let's see if we can get 40 points so we can stay up.
Yeah, exactly.
Try and look ahead of ourselves.
Exactly.
Push.
Try and get to the conference.
We've got to keep pushing.
Listen. One thing I will say: the amount of points we've dropped this season, I would say it's a good 20 points. We would be 8th. We would be in the Conference League. 7th. Sorry, we could potentially have gone to the Conference League.
I went through some of the games that we drew, and to be honest with you, there was 10 points that we should be on. We should have had 10 extra points this season.
You think 10? I reckon 20.
No, I mean definite
10
points. So that would have got us up that into Europe, and that's what we got to improve upon next season. In that, we've got to turn these draws into wins. And if we did that, we're going to be up there.
I've got a question here from JH Palace. One player that you would want in the summer. What's your plan? I'll do mine.
Well, it's got to be Conor Gallagher. I mean, to be honest with you, on a permanent. Yeah.
Would you have him on a 2-year loan though?
Not a 2-year loan. Get him on a permanent, man. Just get him in the club. That'd be my one thing.
My one. This might be an obvious one. Mr. Wan-Bissaka, former Palace man, it'll be nice to see him back at the club. He's a right back. We do sort of need a right back, even though Klein has been doing well, you know. But I mean, I think Wan-Bissaka coming back to Crystal Palace from Man United is a year loan, a 2-year loan, a permanent deal. He would feel like he's at home. Do you know what I mean? It would suit him. It would be so comfortable, and the fans would really appreciate him coming back. So that's my sign I wanted this summer.
Someone's mentioned about Edison Silva. I mean, I don't know him, to be honest with you. I've not seen him, but apparently we're in the running for him, a Brazilian player from Serie A, or Serie A. So, you know, we got our hands and great on him. It'd be fantastic. So get some really good, strong signings in. So,
Lewis Tidy says I take Conference League in a heartbeat. Any Palace fan would right now, for God's sake. You know what I mean? If if West Ham could do it, why can't we?
Yeah, kill a game off. Yeah, exactly. Honestly. Someone's put a note about killing the game off. Exactly. I mean, for me, the 2 Brighton games and the Arsenal away, the 3 games.
Newcastle at home as well.
We should have killed. We should have killed them. We should have killed them. You know. So that's what cost us. I mean, that last minute equaliser in Brighton still gives me sleepless nights, to be honest with you. One player in the summer. Well, as I say, I think we get Conor on a permanent. So
I mean, speaking of other players that could potentially come to Crystal Palace this summer, Ismaila Sarr from Watford. I'm not sure about that. I think Watford are going to demand a lot of money. They've obviously been relegated. They signed him for about the last time we were interested in him, they wanted 50 mil.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, he's still not proven, to be honest with you. So if he doesn't come to Palace, I'm not too, worried about it, to be honest with you. I'm just worried about buying players in clubs who've just been relegated. You know what I mean?
Another interesting one of players we could sign this summer is Doucouré from Lens in Liga 1, I think. He's from one of the French leagues. A lot of people have been very optimistic in him coming to Crystal Palace. He is pretty close for signing for Crystal Palace within the next month, and that'll be a brilliant signing. You know, I think he'll do well on the team and we just need players. The more young players we can get, the more better our team will just build up and, we'll just get better and it'll be more fitter and we could potentially finish as high as 7th, be more consistent. That's what I want, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'd much have Elise over Sarr, and I definitely would have Elise over Sarr. I don't think Sarr's fully proven. He's been relegated twice.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? He's miles ahead of.
If someone said Pepe or Elise, I'd say Elise over Pepe. Do you know what I mean? So Elise is miles ahead of players like that. Arsenal want Doucouré from Rennes as well. Rennes, not Lens. Why did I say Lens? I saw something on the internet. I thought it was Lens, but it was Rennes.
I think the Luca plan looks good. Glad he's coming home. Let's see how he's doing training before we send him on his game move. Yeah, one player you'd like to see in the summer, we said. Cinch is our new sponsors. I mean, I'm glad that we got rid of. I don't like. I mean, here's me.
Look at this. That's it.
Betting thing on me thing.
What's
but
it?
I'm not a fan of betting. Gambling companies betting on shirts. To be honest with you, I mean, I just don't think it's a good thing, to be honest with you. For the youngsters and stuff, so on this Cinch, it'd be great.
The car company. Got a few questions here from Instagram actually. So I'm gonna shout out to Dylan's one. I think that's how you say it. What position do you think needs to be strengthened in the summer? The most position that needs to be strengthened in the summer.
I think it's goalkeeper.
You think goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think it's the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I would say goalkeeper. I think it's to be fair,
goalkeeper and a goal scorer.
What are your thoughts on Butland and Guy this season?
They've done well. Don't get me wrong.
Rotating them around.
The fact that we've not been conceding goals. So we've got a better goal difference than Man United. They've done well. I mean, Butland's done well. He's always sort of got a mistake in him, but I mean, he's done well. But I still think that if we had a real top class goalkeeper in there, it would give the back four even more confidence than they've already got. To be honest with you.
We've also got another one from SWO8. These are the Instagram questions. I'll put on my Instagram story, by the way. He says, most underrated player of the season. Now, I'm going to go with Michael Elise, in my opinion. His dribbling, his finishing, and his movement towards goal and his skills have been superb. I don't think he gets recognised as much compared to the likes of Zaha. I would say Mateta as well. He's pretty underrated. What about you? Who would you pick? What's your most underrated Palace player of this season? For what you've seen in that overall.
Oh, blimey. Most underrated player. Oh, that's a sort of tough one. Probably, I don't know. Is Anderson
Joachim Anderson? That's a shout.
You know, he's passing. He's amazing. I mean, he's diagonal passing.
The one against Arsenal.
I mean, he's just
incredible. Do you know when I saw it at first? I thought it took a deflection, but he actually knew what he was doing. He passed it straight through them, and Ayew was through on goal and scored. Someone says Nathaniel Klein. That's true, though. He's done well, Klein.
Yeah.
When Ward got injured, I thought Klein looked a bit shaky at first, and then as he played, his confidence rose completely.
Klein got better as the season got on, to be honest with you. And I mean, you know, I was really sort of surprised. I think he's got his head down and got himself really, really fit. It's put in a lot of hard work.
Well, he's close to signing a one-year extension.
I think he should. I think he should.
And deservedly so.
His career is very short, and they know it. So you know, I think he's a good professional to have in the dressing room. I should think.
Yeah. We've got one more question. We've got a few more questions actually. Shout out Eagle Eye Football. If you haven't seen their videos, their channel, make sure to go and subscribe, share, like. Follow their medias and that as well. So make sure you subscribe to Eagle Eye Football. Shout out my guy Rich for that as well. So they say here, what does Vieira need to work on to take us to the next level?
He just needs
overall, like with the team and that, and the whole concept of the club right now.
He needs to. One of the things I'm always a bit dubious. I mean, some of his substitutions.
Oh yeah. Arsenal away,
you know, a bit sort of
prime example.
But I mean, who am I to tell him that, you know, who he should or shouldn't bring on? To be honest with you, I mean, as we get forward, he knows more about football than I ever will. So,
any other points that you think Vieira should improve on?
I think the club, the overall thing. I think he's just keep on improving the consistency,
game management,
and get.
What
we mentioned earlier is getting it over the line.
Exactly.
You know, when we, get. I mean, the Everton game, 2-0 up at half time. I know the situation was
the crowd did intimidate the players heavily. I'll be honest.
But 2-0 up at half time. You know, we should have managed that better in the second half.
Keep the questions flowing in the chat. We're going to ask as many as we can. I think you'll scroll down on it.
No, it's go to the top because we missed some. Says
they came
I reckon we should get you guys over to block E as well.
Well, Blocky, does he mean a Homestead one? Because if he does, then that might possibly be happening. I did say at the end of my Man United vlog, and I believe last video as well for the Palace Best Moments, which by the way got over 3,000 views in over a day. It was madness, honestly.
Before we forget, we said nothing. I just want to thank everybody that supported Tristan this season. It's just been great. I mean, people coming up to him, youngsters, young boys, guys come on the train, and this young guy sat next to Tristan and was just sort of so chuffed that he was sitting next to Tristan. It's been brilliant. So I just want to say big thank you to everybody. Brilliant. Cheers. Well done. Sixth place. Yeah, we would have been sixth place if we didn't drop the points exactly.
Sixth place. Blimey.
And I mean, it is so. I mean, I can remember back in the day when we got relegated, and we got relegated that season because we missed a penalty. We missed three penalties. We missed three penalties that season, and every penalty cost us a point. And if we'd have scored any one of those penalties, we would have stayed up. And that's how tight it can get. So what I'm saying is that next season we've got to turn these draws into wins.
We got to up our game. I want to see 3 wins in a row, not 1 win, a draw, 2 defeats, 1 win, a draw, a draw, 2 defeats. You know what I mean? We got to up our game. Let's keep on the score down actually to see that.
Let's just keep going because these people that come on. It's good that we should answer their questions.
We're going to.
So W88 sponsor sounded something like Mr. Temple would say.
What did he say?
W88 sponsor.
The
old one.
I've got an Instagram question from my guy James Harrison there. Big up James in that as well. He's been in quite a few of my vlogs this season. He sort of sits near me in White Horse Lane, and he came to the Millwall game and the Southampton game. And if it wasn't for him, I mean, I would have probably never gone to that Millwall game. So shout out to him in that as well. Favorite game this season? What's your favourite game? I'm going to give you mine, you do yours. Come on, there's a couple. There's the two obvious ones.
Oh my God!
Pick.
I think.
No, I think one. You got to say one favourite game.
Everton quarterfinal. Only because we went to the.
I'll say the same as well.
We went to the Homestyle end and we had an absolute wicked afternoon.
4-0. Clean sheets.
I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to go home.
We stayed after the game and we met some of the players. Eze Gallagher, Mark Bright. Parish, Ian Wright was there, but he went the other way. You could have met your idol then. You'll meet him one day. Don't worry. You will meet him one day.
Yeah, I'd love to meet Ian Wright. I mean, brilliant. I love him.
Legend.
I love him. He's an absolute legend.
You'll do it. We'll do it.
Come on a sub against Oldham, and he was just brilliant. He never looked back. And I was going to all the away games and watching Ian Wright. Brilliant. Anyway.
Someone says, the Homestyle win. We're gonna definitely try and get to the Homestyle.
Yeah. So what we got to do?
Where everyone's standing and where the drum is. That'd be brilliant.
I've been told I've got to renew my current season ticket for the Sainsbury's end, and once it's done and they've got all the tickets sold, and then we can actually then move to the once I know what's available.
Yeah,
so hopefully. That's where we are with that at the moment. But yeah.
So another question here from Samsy, I think that's how you say it. Do you think we can go another great run in the FA Cup next season?
Why not?
Why not?
Look,
I mean, we never do one in the League Cup, but the FA Cup, the last 6 years, we've been to Wembley like 3 times. Do you know what I mean? So it's possible, isn't it?
It's a cup. You you get the right draw, all the rest of it. Why not? I mean, it'd be great to go back. One of my memories of the season was at Covent Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
That was mental. Did you see when they were talking of each other, and then there was some Chelsea geez are up front on the top.
There was like this restaurant with a balcony, and it was a Chelsea fan.
In the blues, you know what I mean?
And he just got absolutely slaughtered.
I think he was a Chelsea fan.
I mean,
he could have probably been an Evertonian on a spy mission.
I mean, the thing that I love with Crystal Palace is that look, if there was a table for best supporters in the land, we'd win it. Hands down, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, I'm biased, and there's some other clubs that are really good.
I mean, you've got Villa, Leeds, Newcastle. Newcastle, especially. Shout out to Newcastle.
I love the humour of the fans. Yeah. Some of the songs they come out with are absolutely wicked. I mean, they just do it with a spur of a moment, and that's why I love going to the games.
I think the funniest moment for me, like with the fans and that, was when we were walking from Southampton down the road, and this geezer started dancing in front of the cars and that, and I saw him do it at Villa as well. It was the same person. You know what I'm on about?
Yeah.
And everyone clocked in. They were all like, when I uploaded the Southampton vlog, I had people in the comments saying, "Did you see the guy dancing in front of the car?" And I just replied, "Of course I did." You know what I mean? Someone says here, JH Palace. I'm in a White Horse. I'm in the White Horse, but also, I think he's meant to say I'm in the White Horse Lane end, but also thinking of moving. A lot of people want to move. The thing is with the White Horse Lane end, I hate it. And the reason why I hate it, the atmosphere is bloody terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Okay, you got to put it to
we're behind a goal. Listen. You go to Ellen Road, you go to Villa Park. Both ends where the goals are all standing. To intimidate the opposition. It should be all standing, Dan. It has to be. That'd be brilliant. I would love it. I would stay there if it was all standing, but it's not. It's flat. I know it's the family section, but it's got.
Traditionally,
Crystal Palace. You know what I mean?
The Homestyle Indies have been there. The bit has all been jumping around the rest of it.
I know, but
I've always gone to the White Horse. When my very first Crystal Palace, my dad used to sit me on the wall.
Yeah.
And so it's always been, so that end is the family end. That's what you got to understand.
I know, but it's just,
if you've got young children, okay,
yeah, true.
You're not going to want to go at the Homestyle end with all that noise, because it's
move them to the halfway.
So to the left. That's why I think Tristan's grown up now, so we can sort of off to the other end of the pitch. To be honest with you,
yeah.
So
Palace fan here says the Arthur has a much better atmosphere than the White Horse Lane stand. The corner, where the halfway stand is, there's that corner stand. We went, what's it?
That was your first game there.
Against Hull, and we did it against Swansea. We had a lot of stories there. Yeah. The guy in front, trousers falling down, and then someone spat food on you.
Palace,
there was something like that.
Some guy was out of burger behind me. I don't know what he did. He sneezed or something. His burger went all over me. It's disgusting. Anyway, and when Palace scored Tristan's first game, and the guy ran down the aisle because Palace scored. His trousers started.
No, it was the Swansea one. It was the Swansea one. The second one. That was the end of the season.
But the other great moment for me this season as well, by the way, was away at Millwall.
Classic.
1-2-1
first time there.
There's some Millwall fan
as well.
He's got this cap on, an absolute twat. I mean, of the first order.
He was down below.
And he tried to jump over the wall to come to the Crystal Palace fans, but he's waiting for his mate to pull him back, and then his mate didn't pull him back, and it's like, oh, what do I do? He tried to be the big I am, and then he turned out to be a total.
And then
wimp,
what happened afterwards? What happened afterwards? He pulled his trousers down.
Oh yeah, he pulled his trousers down. He showed everybody his backside. Brilliant. There you go. That's
we saying James. We saying, bro. Yeah. What about the mill? Yeah, we were just talking about that. Everyone saw it. I think I didn't see it, but I heard. I know you did, and you did. You saw the whole thing go down, and I heard everyone laughing. I was like, what's going on? And then you told me he pulled his trousers down.
I was a bit worried because I haven't been in Mill for some time. The last time I went there, they were throwing bricks at us. So I was a bit worried, but
I was nervous.
It went okay because they control you sort of coming out so you can get on the train and go over. It's fine, so that's all right.
I won't repeat what James just said in the comments.
What's that?
No. You see what we're going to keep it PG as best as we can. Yeah. Oh my God, this guy. Got another few questions as well.
Right. Okay.
What was that?
Goal of the season for Crystal Palace.
What's your goal of the season? We actually have to get onto that.
My goal of the season was Zaha's goal at Norwich.
And why? Give me a reason.
I just thought that that for me is Wilf at his best.
Yeah.
The actual game summed up Wilf as a player. He scores the most brilliant goal.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, he goes to do a 10-yard pass, and he just gives it straight to a Norwich player.
No.
And then
everyone knows what happened next.
And then you got the penalty. Now the only thing I would say, look,
it's hard.
The guy slipped. Okay, so
I think at the time I was kind of annoyed because it was Norwich. They were rubbish. They were down. And
that was another game.
Yeah.
We drew. That penalty goes in. 2 points, the extra 2 points.
Another one.
But what's your
my goal of the season? I'm going to give it to Conor Gallagher against Everton at home. A cracking strike, a cracking finish, top bins, absolutely finessed it past Pickford. He literally just looked up once, took a shot, and it went in after Everton losing the ball at the back. They were playing around at the back. It was the 95th minute, I think, and he absolutely just took the roof off the net with that. It was a brilliant strike, and that was the goal of the season contender. And that's my goal of the season as well. Yeah. So it is quite difficult, but I would go with Gallagher. He's obviously going to go with Wilf. Who's your player of the season? Who is your player of the season?
I would have to say, is it Guy?
Mark A.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a bit of a shocker. He didn't have the best last few games, but overall he's really developed as a player. Tyreek Mitchell. I'm gonna give it to Mitchell.
Yeah.
I think he's done well. Listen, when we lost Van Aanholt, I wasn't too bothered, but at the same time, I kind of was. I was like, is Mitchell going to develop? Is he going to be another Wan-Bissaka or something? Is he going to really up his game? He's been so consistent.
I think
he's been lucky with injuries as well.
He's been our most improved player. He just needs to carry on improving. He's got off towards. I think he got an injury, and I think it sort of knocked his confidence a bit.
Yeah.
And the thing is why he's improved is that a lot of the teams who come and play us, they actually will put a man to stop him from coming up the pitch. So they blocked that. He did a lot of passing between him and Zaha and stuff, and he was like quite very good. But a lot of teams now they get on him. If you look in the Chelsea game, for instance, I mean, you could think of was he at fault for the Chelsea goal, but the problem is he had the ball and no other Palace player made themselves available, and he lost possession.
But I'm really impressed with him. He's done well. It may seem a shock to a lot of people, but it's my opinion. And you just got to give players a chance to shine, and he's done that, I think, this season. We've got a few other questions coming through. Here's an interesting one. This is for me and you to answer as well. Shout out James for this question. Who was your worst player of the season? There's a few. Go on, who's your worst player?
One?
Do you want me to go first? Yeah, you go first. Go on, you go first. You go first. Your worst player of the season for Crystal Palace.
Well, I mean, that's got to be Luca, I'm afraid. I mean, look, he was great when he came to the club. But
definitely Luca.
Just dropped.
I would say Luca as well.
I think it's, and
any other candidates? His Luca, mine's Luca. But I'm thinking, I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, I
would just say
Luca. I mean, I don't like sort of saying players of the worst of the season. I mean, sometimes you have a bad season.
But overall, we say Luca.
But I think overall, all the players have done. The one thing that I realised at the end of each game, in that how as a team we played a lot better. So it's very difficult to criticise one player. They all play well. Whenever we've been playing, it's been a whole team playing well, which is, you know.
So I'm just going to get back to it. So someone says Luca and Ward. That is, who said that? JH Palace. The basic YouTuber thinks Vicente Gaeta. Now, I'll be honest. He's made a few mistakes. He's made some good saves. He's kept a few clean sheets. But he's been pretty inconsistent.
Yeah,
I mean, at the beginning of the season, he was.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, you know, when we've conceded many goals, and I think I've said that I think we need to get a decent goalkeeping. I mean, the thing for me is he's kicking. He can't.
Oh, he's awful. Brighton. I know. Oh, all you had to do was just boot it out the stadium, and you boot it on the ground or something.
He can't
kick mid-low and he just bloody score. Awful goal kicking.
Yeah, and sounded a bit of a slow start. He made that error against Leicester, which was again, you know, another game. We went 2-0 down. We was all over Leicester, and then we were 2-0 down at half time. You know, if they hadn't made that mistake for the first goal, Leicester wouldn't have scored the second goal, and we would have actually gone on to win that game. But Ward, I mean, you know, he's Ward. He's a bit of the old guard. So
he's been there for 10 years nearly.
You can see the way that Vieira wants to play, and I don't think Ward sometimes is quite there.
Ward's like a Roy Hodgson player, sort of.
Yeah, so it's been a bit. He's done okay. I mean, you know, when he played at centre half, I wasn't too sure about it. I must admit, you know.
Right. Oh, here's an interesting one. Shout out Marcus Fleming. I think I said that right. This is a question from my Instagram story. Unexpected talent of this season. For me, I would say Michael Elise. What about you? Any other?
Yeah, I would say Elise as well. Yeah, I would say Elise as well. To be honest with you,
I would put Mateta in there, but he had a really poor. His first half of the season was poor, and he picked up really matured as a player and grew within his confidence second half of the season, didn't he?
Yeah, where Mateta's concerned, okay, that guy's got his head down and is putting some hard work because he puts in a shift, but I'm not quite sure whether he's got what it takes to be a consistent goal scorer. Now, what I think next season, give him a go. And
he actually got injured. Yeah. We saw him against Man U, had a cast around his leg. He was walking, no crutches. But I think he was injured for the last few games, which I didn't really sort of realise.
And again, Eduardo, I'm not sure about him. I'll see him.
What's happened with him? He came on against Tottenham. He was amazing. 2 goals. He came on in the first 30 seconds. He scored. I was like, what a player. He scored a brilliant goal against Arsenal. Had a bad patch. Had a brilliant start to this year, 2022. He hasn't scored since January.
And
he's had his chance against teams like Watford, Man United.
He doesn't. The thing with him, he doesn't work hard in training.
Apparently, he's lazy in training.
Yeah, I don't think he works hard enough in training. Yeah, and that's why he doesn't. And he shows on the pitch. And I think he's lacking a little bit of confidence. He's come out of the Scottish Premier League. And playing in our Premier League is a big difference.
Yeah, we got a few other questions. Shout out Lewis Tidy, I think. Unexpected talent, Will Hughes. What do you think of Will Hughes? What do you make of him? Didn't play till December, by the way, of this season. He came on against Leeds, didn't it, when we lost 1-0. So November.
I sometimes play him. He does some great stuff, you know, and then suddenly he sort of disappears in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know whether it's his career because he sort of has a couple of games at Palace and then none.
Well, he's 27. He's at the prime of his career. That says it all, really, in my opinion.
I mean, you know, I think that he's not had a bad season, but again, if he could just improve his consistency.
Do you know, he reminds me of a bit Will Hughes, slightly players that sort of come and go. Andros Townsend. I know they're different positions, but Townsend would have a real good game, make some real good passes, score some cracking goals, and then just disappear for a bit. He sort of reminds me of that a little bit. We've got up the Palace, shout out Hes by Gaming. I think I've said that right. What else are we saying? Unsung hero this season. Who's yours? Unsung hero. Shout out Samsy for that question, by the way.
I don't know, unsung hero. Well, I can't say Wilf, can I? I don't know, probably Anderson again, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, that's a question sort of previously, I think, you know.
Hero, this is sort of different, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of hero. Well, I suppose you've got to give it. If it was just hero, it'd be Conor Gallagher, but he's not exactly unsung, is he?
Well, he had a poor end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he you know, a lot of players done. I mean, I think it was fortunate that
I would say Mateta, you know, he's always there at the right place in the right time against Millwall.
Yeah, I mean,
Wolves sort of
yeah.
when we won 2-0, we scored.
I mean,
he just
the thing with Vieira is he puts in a lot of hard work. I mean, when he's in the team, I'm not too, disappointed, to be honest with you, because I know you're going to get 100%. If he keeps it going, you're going to get 100% out of him. If he could get goals, that guy would be outstanding. If that guy could get some more goals for us,
I think he'll do that next season. He could get to 12 to 15 goals. We'll get on to our next season prediction at the end of this video, end of the stream. Sorry. Another question from S33K1. You think we have a chance to sign Conor Gallagher? There's always a chance. We could get him on a tier loan. If we can get him permanently, I'm sure Palace will just throw the money at Chelsea. 40 million, 50 mil, and just get him at the club. He's so young as well.
Yeah,
he's like
22. The thing is,
he's not going to play regularly at Chelsea next season. Let's be honest.
I mean, listen, you know what the money's like in the Premier League. Whether Palace are going to be prepared to pay the money that Chelsea want is another matter. But I don't think Palace are going to bankrupt themselves to get a player. But we just have to
really be careful.
Palace can't afford to make a mistake.
Oh, exactly.
If you're like Newcastle at the moment, they know that they could go and buy 10 players, and if
they could potentially buy Messi and Haaland. Haaland's got to see, but they could have done, isn't it? Like in January or something, isn't it?
And if they make a mistake, it doesn't matter. We just whatever. Palace can't do that.
Got to be smart. I mean, bargains in the summer. At least say for 8 million, Will Hughes on a free. Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
John Philip Mateta, we signed him permanently in January for about, I think it was about 7 mil.
Yeah.
Anderson, we got him for 20.
That's how. I mean, this is how clubs like us survive. Well. And the other thing as well is that a player, when it comes to Palace, that player's got to buy into the club.
Have to have the connection with the fans.
You've got to. I think with the other thing I love about Palace is we've got a profile. And we've got a sort of an image, and we've got a way. And the players who come here have got to play into the club. They, we're not Tottenham, we're not Arsenal, we don't have some massive stadium. Exactly. We're not Man United.
We're not Ajax. We're not the kind of club you bring the ball, like what we did with the ball, bringing them in. Everyone thought, we're going to get Europa League. We're going to be like Ajax. It fell apart badly. Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's where Vieira's done well. He's come in and he's recognised that.
And he's respected us.
And I think players that have come in have got to recognise that as well. Exactly. So you might have a player that you've paid a lot of money for, who doesn't know anything about the club, comes in, he's brilliant, but just doesn't fit with the team. And you get another guy that you've got for 5 million, but gets it, comes in and gives you value for money.
Speaking of that, flop of the season.
Flop of the season.
I think I know you're going to say. My one, go on, you do yours first. Go on,
you do.
All right. My flop of the season has been Odsonne Edouard. He had a great start, and he's been shambles for the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Do you think, who's your flop? There must be another player. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's your opinion. What do you think? Flop of the Palace season.
By me.
It could be a new sign. It could be.
Again, I probably have to say Eduardo after he's great, and he shows signs of it sometimes when he's on the pitch. Watch him a couple of times
the other day. He was
last season. I actually just focusing on him when the plays over here, and I look at him, and he's just not there. He's slow to the ball, and he's like not anticipating where the ball might break, and he's walking around and he's looking, and he's like, no, you should be bang, bang, bang. Where's that ball? Where's
he's
that
not
ball?
Pressing.
You know what I mean?
He's standing there looking
bang on it when you're in the Premier League.
A few other people have said Butland is a flop. Luca, I mean, Luca is obvious, but if we're being really specific, players, I think like Edouard have sort of let themselves down a bit, especially second half of the season. They were too inconsistent as well.
Well, Luca's form has been dipping for the last 3 seasons, to be honest with you.
What do you think about Butland? Do you think he's been a flop this season?
I don't think
he has. He's always got a mistake in him. That's the problem.
So
maybe that's why fans see him as a flop.
Mistake at Millwall. But I mean, look, he's coming towards the end of his career. I mean, again, he's a good second goalkeeper to have. But we just need. I think we just need a good young goalkeeper in there with a little bit of experience. I mean, the Burnley goalkeeper. I mean, I don't know whether he'll ever come to Crystal Palace. Nick Pope.
No, he's going to a bigger club. He's too good to come to Palace, in my opinion.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, we've got a few other questions. Marcus Fleming, these are from the Instagram story. He's got a couple. Best home game and best away game of the season. You go first, and I'll give mine after. Go on.
Oh, best home game for one was the Everton game, which I thought was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, beating Arsenal and Tottenham 3-0 at home. Doesn't get any better than that, to be honest with you.
I'm going to be on right now. Best home game is going to be the Everton one. It has to be. We were in home still away and beat Everton 4-0. We went to Wembley. It was like a cup final that day. It was just insane and absolutely superb from the Palace fans. They put on a show. Away game, I'm going to go with the Wolves one away. I'm going to go with Wolves away.
I think our
I thought that was brilliant.
The
Wolves one. I mean, there were so many fans there. When we got them 2 goals, we were all over Wolves. We probably should have been about 4. We set the flares off. All you could do with Palace fans, really. It was rocking. We were so solid. It was brilliant away there. We loved it.
We totally bossed the game,
and I didn't expect us to win that either.
Right from the get-go, we bossed that game right to the end. And my only disappointment was we only scored 2 goals. To be honest with you.
We should have been 4-0 up. That's been our highlight. That's been the problem with the season. There's been games we should have been winning.
One of my memories of the Wolves game was a Wolves fan sat in the family end with his family, going absolutely ape. You should have seen his behaviour. I'm like, he sat next to his daughter and
his kids were doing it as well.
His behaviour was appalling in front of his children. And the Palace fans were just winding him up, and he was just taking it in. And in the end, the stewards had to go up to him and tell him to be quiet.
I think they left it at half time or something.
Yeah, that Wolves away game I think was good. And the Arsenal game was almost brilliant. We were 2-1 up. I mean, that would have
Brighton
been
as well.
And the Brighton
letting
game,
ourselves down at the last flipping minute.
I just can't. Even.
Watford. I went to Southampton. Was another one. That was a good away day. It wasn't my favorite.
Southampton was great.
Well, it was a good away day, but there's been others that I think were better in my opinion. I never went to the Watford game. It was an evening game, and the tickets just sold out quick, and we were just. I think wasn't for us. Plus, we went before me, drew 0-0.
I think the thing that I love about the Southampton game was,
you know what I mean? Even though it was a good day.
The Southampton fans were singing "When the Saints Come Marching In."
That's their only song.
And these Palace fans are like, do 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 do. It was just hilarious. I mean,
they had the trumpets and that before the game.
Typical Palace.
What's up with these South Coast teams? They only have one song. It's like Bournemouth. Come on, Bournemouth. Brighton. I'm not going to say it, but they got Southampton when the Saints come marching.
They must be the only team in the Premiership who've got one team, and that they got one song, and that song consists of one word. I mean,
most of the Brighton fans are Chelsea fans. That's us all, isn't it? They're all Chelsea supporters, Dad.
I don't know whether it's Chelsea, their intellect or not. I don't know, but I mean, they've got to come up with some decent songs.
Yeah, literally. Right, I've got one other question.
One thing I want to mention for next season, which I think might have an impact on us, is that you're going to be allowed 5 subs.
Oh yeah. I've heard about that. I'm not sure about that.
I think for me that is really grossly unfair. So obviously,
the clubs like us and
the stronger squad you've got.
I mean,
you can imagine Liverpool, 20 minutes to go, not made any subs, and suddenly they bring 5 subs on.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're playing them, and it's like, their 5 subs are always going to be a lot stronger.
I think you're going to notice the results next season compared to this season.
So I just think that's a really bad move by the Premiership to allow that to happen.
It's really,
to be honest with you,
so it's not fair. It's
really
I think
unfair. I think that the points that we claim off the top 6 are going to go down.
Yeah.
So I think the gap between the top teams is going to get bigger because they can manage a game. I mean, can you imagine if you're like 1-0, 2-0 down to Liverpool and you're trying to get a goal back and then they bring on 5 fresh subs, all top quality players? I mean, it's just not fair. Exactly. Anyway,
big up Eagle Eye TV. Shout out to them in the chat. Make sure you go and subscribe to them. They're just in the chat now. So that is their channel. Another question from James Harris. Worst away fans this season? Oh, we got a few. We have a few. I'm gonna say, right, there's some People would say Burnley, but surprisingly, you could hear the Burnley fans making more noise than the Palace fans in that 1-1 draw back in February. So no Burnley. I'm not going to put Burnley.
Looking at the away games that we actually went to.
The away fans at Selhurst Park.
The away fans.
For me, I'd say Watford, Chelsea. They were awful.
I would say the Norwich fans, to be honest with you.
They made some. Do you see what they did? You don't think they were that good?
They were.
I mean, when they sang "Let's Pretend We Scored a Goal,"
well, I know,
the fans applauded them, and they got 1 million views. So
I know that doesn't make you.
That's your opinion.
That doesn't make you good away fans. But I mean, Watford. I think
Wolves were poor as well.
I think
Leicester.
Didn't think Leicester. Yeah, I mean they last time.
Brighton, you didn't hear them until they scored at the 95th.
I know,
when everyone was leaving. Do you know what I mean? Flipping hell. We got So go on.
But no, I mean going to the away some of the away games. I mean,
let's start. I mean, Man United,
Arsenal,
Leicester,
even Southampton. To be honest,
Southampton was crap apart from them not next to us.
Even Wolves. I mean, I was a bit disappointed with the Wolves fans. I thought a bit more.
Aston Villa. They were quiet. Surprisingly, everyone was standing, but it was quiet. You could hear the Palace fans, most of this.
I mean, they made more noise when the team of 40 years come out of the European Cup than they did their actual team.
Most toxic fans at Selhurst Park. Most toxic. You always got to say Leeds. I'd say Leeds. They weren't that bad, but they're always toxic.
I mean,
you can just tell. West Ham. In a way,
West Ham.
I mean, I don't really. There wasn't really many. I'd say toxic. Norwich. Everton. Not the first game when we beat them 3-1, the 4-0, where you could see them throwing stuff at the players. They were going mental. I would be as well.
The thing is when we beat Arsenal 3-0, I was expecting the Arsenal fans to go nuts because they lost 3-0. But they actually started clapping them because I think Arsenal realised
that's because Troops is an American.
Because
I do you know what I mean?
Because
I hate it.
I'm not talking about Palace, but where Arsenal's concerned, I mean, Arsenal TV, I mean, to be honest with you, is a joke.
I was embarrassing, disgusting.
And I think when
horrible people, apart from Robbie,
the fans that clapped the Arsenal after 3-0 defeat, they were the
real
true Arsenal fans.
Shout out! Can I say something? Shout out my guy Mohammed Budahan. He's an organizer of the Arsenal Ultras. He's done a superb job. Listen, them fans who go home and away, you see them at the clock end at the Emirates, you see them at the away end such as Palace, playing the drum, clapping, standing up, staying after the game. That's my guys. Superb work there. I've loved it. And if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be doing that right now. So shout out my guy Budahan there.
Somebody made
if you're watching, innit?
Somebody made it about the empty seats at the Brighton Stadium. I think what it is that they can't. If you're a season ticket holder, for instance, you can't get to the game. You can't give it to anybody else. So you can't go. And so they end up with lots of empty seats.
Exactly.
But I mean, even when we were there, I mean, I was really expecting it was my first sort of. I've been to Brighton Derby before. I mean, I'm going.
They were awful, the Brighton fans. But you only heard them when they scored again. They stood there. They didn't even say anything. The only sort of noise I could say was at the beginning of the match, before kickoff. Sorry, this idiot to the right of us, some fat don sitting in his seat. He was like, "Hey Neil Mopay, I want to know how you scored that goal." He was singing it so loud, it was funny. He was the only one doing it. He was sitting down as well. He wasn't standing up with his arms out singing it. He just sat there. He felt like he was like the most notorious geezer in the flipping stand. Do you know what I mean? Oh God. No, that'd be like Glenn Murray going from Brighton to Palace. Do you know what I mean? Flipping out.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, the Millwall game was.
Well, the Millwall anyway.
I mean,
they're funny. They're fans.
I've got my
bunch of mugs.
Opinion of the Millwall, to be honest with you. I mean, the fact they fly the Union Jack over their stadium says it all, really. To be honest with you,
I laugh at Millwall.
I haven't got any time for them, to be honest with you. I mean,
I'm surprised I didn't get much abuse in the comment section after I uploaded the vlog. The vlog I've got, that Millwall vlog's got 7k views. It's all Palace fans bigging Palace up. No Millwall fans at all. The Millwall fans were like to me, fair play. Fair enough.
Yeah, the United fans, they did okay.
Millwall.
You talk about the United game at the weekend. So
Man United. They were fine. I mean, they made
just Old Trafford. That is the worst Man United team I have seen in my lifetime. Now I'm going back.
What an assist!
I'm going back to the 1990s when we were fighting with Man United for relegation. So we stayed up and they just about stayed up. They went up, and then we both met each other in the cup final. And Alex Ferguson just got in there and turned the thing around. So this new manager will turn things around there. But but we again, I think
he'll do it. Do you think Ten Hag will do it, Ferguson?
I think he'll turn things around.
Think so?
But I just disappointed. We only scored 1 goal. It's like the Watford game. We should have.
But we did look pretty solid. United lacked a bit of quality. They had a free header, McTominay.
Yeah.
That sums it up. That's why United aren't.
I know. The Watford, my worst game, to be honest, was probably the Watford game. We should have buried them. I mean,
they were so poor.
We never turned up. If you watch,
we won 1-0, but it was terrible. Really.
I always, when a game kicks off, you can genuinely tell where your players are up for it or not. And if 5-10 minutes in and they're walking around the pitch, they're not up for it. And
fortunately, there was a handball.
Fortunately, you're playing Watford, who were never going to score.
I mean, they lost and got relegated.
They could have played till midnight and they would never scored a goal. So shout out to all the Palace fans who stayed in America. I see a few people in the chat and that as well. Big up, man. By the way, the Villa game, Brighton. This guy turned up with Brighton.
Oh my god!
I mean,
he had a Brighton shirt, he had a wig. Is he stupid?
He had a Brighton top on and a Brighton wig on.
Do you know the funny thing is, he came out and he went straight back down and we never saw him again.
But the thing is, right?
How did he get? Do you know what? That's the first
thing I don't understand is how did he get a ticket for the Palace end? I mean, how did he get his ticket?
I don't know.
I mean, the guy must be. The guy's.
I think he was just doing it. He must have been he's just trying to wind people up. And unpopular opinion, Norwich was the most boring game. And I think he's talking about the 3-0 one.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? Yeah. And shout out, Hazard a Man. I think that's how you say it. Yeah. Just him there. I sort of agree because there was a period for the first. I think it was like there was like a 25-minute period. We scored them 3 goals and we were all over them. Norwich were terrible. But second half, it was dead. It was
the second
against Norwich.
The thing is, right? You're playing.
And early on, it was quite dead as well.
3-0 up at half time.
Do you know what I mean?
Norwich have got a bunch of youngsters on the pitch.
Yeah.
And again,
they did have
Palace just go and get 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't like this bloody. If the team's rubbish and you're 3-0 up, then go make it 4, and then you make it 5, and then you make it 6. Put them to the sword.
He's not wrong.
You know what I mean? But I don't like it when you have games like where you're 3-0 up. It's like, we can just let's just play out these last 45 minutes. Look, we paid money to come and watch you play football, and then that's what you got to do.
Right. Worst performances this season. We're gonna get onto Eagle Eye TV's question afterwards, but was it hens by game? So I think that's it. Hens by gaming.
Hazard is.
No. Hens by gaming. Worst performances of the season. If I said that right. If I said that wrong, my bad. But it takes a while for me to get to know these names. Doesn't it?
Oh, blimey!
This season.
I'm just trying to think.
Worst performance. Let's think of it. I'm trying to think. Worst performance. You got to pick one.
Probably away to Leeds, I think, and away to Tottenham. I mean, I thought
away to Chelsea first day. Now,
yeah, I mean
I know we weren't ready, but I was looking at the highlights and I was on the phone to a Chelsea supporter. I was texting him while he was at the game. We were coming back from holiday. He said we looked awful. And I watched the highlights. We could have passed. We had 1 attempt the whole game.
I think
was really poor. I would say Chelsea.
I think with the Chelsea, the very first game of the season, we just weren't ready. I mean, Vieira came in quite late.
Yeah.
I think if Vieira had come in bang on the end of the season,
he came in early July, innit?
If it had been at the beginning of if you joined Palace right at the end of the season, we would have had a better start.
Exactly.
And again, that was the Palace sort of faffing about trying to get the manager.
Honestly.
And I mean, again, can you believe we dodged the bullet with the Wolves man? What's his name? Nuno.
When I heard it, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get Nuno.
Yeah.
I'm happy we didn't.
Bloody
hell.
It's
amazing. Dodged the bullet there, like he said.
But I mean, the Leeds guy, I was watching it live on the box, and I thought we could have got something out of that game. And then
it was really poor. We were so naive. Stuck his hand out gay at the last minute.
Blimey.
Stupid mistakes. Eagle Eye Football, not an interesting question here. Best game atmosphere. For me, it was City at home. This is the home game overall for the Palace fans.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I think
a few.
No, yeah, Man City at home was definitely
Everton at home.
And the Man City game
Hartlepool at home I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, it was okay, but I mean,
Brentford. First game back, Brentford. What do you think? Would you rate that?
Yeah, it was okay.
So would you?
No, but I think
which one would you pick overall?
I would say, for me personally, it was the Everton game, but the Man City game was good because I think that
I'd say the Arsenal one. Arsenal, we beat them 3-0. That was brilliant.
It's always going to be
Arsenal.
Good
Yeah, I'd say the Arsenal one. I love seeing Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. Hoping to get them on our maybe on that potentially, depends what I'm doing in Eagle Eye. I'll just let you know. Yeah, great channel.
I think in football, like scoring a winner in the last minute, trust me.
Well, what's that? What question is that?
If you
the one.
If you go to an away game and it's 1-1 and there's 30 seconds to go and you win the game, that is it. It's just make sure.
Remember McCarthy's
obviously the worst thing is if you're on the other end of it. No,
just
no.
The Arsenal game. Just no.
Well,
the worst one's Brighton.
The
worst one was the Brighton one.
That
gave me a heart attack for 30 seconds.
Depressed for 2 weeks when that goal went in at Brighton. I just
what, the away one or the home one? Which one's worse? Honestly, which one's worse?
I mean, it was home game. I mean, when the ball went in, I was just come along. Can you put your flag up? Can someone run on the pitch and kick the ball or do something?
Best away atmosphere,
Millwall's cracking.
And shout out Luke Ford for that.
Millwall's cracking. Obviously, the Chelsea. Look,
we didn't go Chelsea. Not away.
Semi-final.
That's not away though. That's
I know, but I mean,
like an away game. I'd say Millwall. What about you?
I would. Yeah, I think Millwall away was good because we took the place over and they didn't like it, which was great. So but the semi-final again. I mean, where were when the Chelsea walked out?
Club,
there was three. They put 3 flags up. All you saw was 3 blue Chelsea flags. That's all you saw. And then you didn't hear from them again until they scored a goal. That was it.
I hate that.
I mean,
I hate it, man. We didn't even. I'm disappointed we didn't score in that game.
I would have been in hindsight.
We got it all
in
wrong.
Hindsight, when you got to think with Vieira, look, he obviously is a talented man, talented manager, and he's still learning as well. I'm sure that if he looked at that Chelsea game, he might do a few things a bit different. And I think the Chelsea game, for me, I think we could have just been a little bit more positive. I think Eze had come on a bit earlier.
At least they should have started because he was fully fit.
And again, but it's very fine. Right? I mean, if Anderson's goal had gone in at the post
before half time,
before half time,
Chiari missed it as well.
You know what I mean? So it's finite stuff, and I mean, but as far as the atmosphere, it was absolutely cracking. I mean, the Palace end was just absolutely fantastic.
Going back to a few of the questions we've answered, I'm going to answer this one actually. Signings you would make next season / changes you would make for the team. So the signings I would make next season, I've got a few. Sign Conor Gallagher on make it permanent within a year's time potentially. Keeper Doucouré from Rennes in France, I think. And we need a winger, I think, and I'm not sure about that winging role yet. I would either keep Elise there, and rotate him around with Rak-Saki. I think Rak-Saki can potentially turn out into a real good player. He's not a sign. He's coming from the academy, obviously, Rak-Saki. So that is the team. Those are the players I would, put into the team for next season if we want to push. And I think we may need another striker. I'm not sure. I think Mateta may be good enough with Edouard as a backup and Benteke as well. Even though I said Benteke this time, but realistically, we know the club ain't going to send him because his contract expires next summer and that. So we'll have to wait and see. If more rumors appear within the next couple of months, I'll keep you posted. I've got a few transfer videos coming up, within the next few months as well. Speaking of the players and that, we are going to have a look at some more questions coming through. Thoughts on bringing back Wan-Bissaka? It will be his home. He's brought up as throughout the Crystal Palace Academy.
Yeah.
He would feel like home for him. He would love it.
I think what you got.
The fans would back him.
I think what you got to understand. You probably asked Wolf about this, but the thing is that when you go to Man United, the pressure on a player to perform every single week, which is great. I mean, whatever. But I think the pressure on the players is tremendous, and you get scrutinised terribly. And I think that if Wan-Bissaka was to come to Palace, he would slowly build his confidence gap, get back into the way we know he can play, because his form's dipped at Man United, and I don't know. I personally think that if he'd have gone, like say Pep had been his manager, Pep would have developed him into a better player. And I think the problem with Man United, the players would go in there and they were not getting the proper coaching. and and that's why they turned out. I think if Wan-Bissaka was to come back to Palace, he the fans would love it.
Where would he play though? That's the big problem. Would you play him over Klein? Because the way Klein's been playing lately.
Well,
if you give Klein if you give Klein a 1-year contract extension, keep him at the club for another season. He knows that he's going to be playing regular first team football. He's guaranteed first team football in that, and he'll be starting every game. He's better than Ward. I pick him over Ward like all day. Plus Ward getting on a bit. Bring Wan-Bissaka back in, you could put him. I think that would work. That's my opinion. Or you could play him over Klein at right back. What would that do to Nathaniel Klein's confidence? It would knock his confidence. He'd be really devastated. I know he's getting on a bit. But would you? I'm not sure. Where would you play Bissaka in that team? You've rotate.
No,
but you've got
I know you've got Klein there. Do you know what I mean? You've also got to look at consistently trying to improve the team.
Yeah.
If a player comes along,
that's
better than what you've got, and he's available, whatever, then it's football. I'm afraid it's a cut.
But would you drop Klein for Wan-Bissaka if he comes back next season? Would you?
It's a difficult one because Wan-Bissaka's not been playing regular football.
That is true.
So and there might be reasons why they won't. He won't come back. I don't know. In Man United, I don't know what deal they might not let him to come back.
Yeah.
But
I'm loving more different questions coming through. We have asked a few of the same questions, such as what will Patrick Vieira do next season, or who's your best player in that. Let's just get a few more questions and maybe different ones, just so we could just keep the flow, a good rhythm in that as well. We've got another interesting question here from JH Palace. How many away games are you going to next season? We obviously don't know the fixtures yet. I mean, there's a few grounds we're trying to go. Now, I want to try and go Fulham, Ellen Road. That's a shout.
I mean,
it depends what time the game is. If it's an evening game, then no. If it's a daytime game, then yes. Really.
There's sort of
Forest
night games are sort of long journeys.
Unless it's a London derby.
It means I've got to take 2 days off work and it's the rest of it. So we're going to try and get to as many as we can. We got to quite a few this season, which was great.
I mean, we definitely go Southampton again. Try and go Brighton.
I mean, I've always one game I've
Chelsea as well. West Ham. I want to try and go to them next year.
I mean, I've done a thing over my lifetime. I've been to 45 away game. Sorry, 45 grounds around the stadium. So I've been. Particularly during the 80s was one of my period when I used to go and watch all the away games everywhere and stuff like that. So I've been up to Carlisle and all sorts of. One game I've never been to is Newcastle. I always wanted to go to Newcastle, but it's
so far on the money traveling.
The train journey.
It's like 250 4-hour journey. I can't do it.
It's a lot of money. So yeah, I mean, and the other thing as well is that you look at the Brentford, for instance. With the points that we've got on our season ticket, so we're season ticket holders, but we haven't got the 6,000 points. Yeah. So when Brentford comes along, their allocation to the away fans is so small. We just miss the boat every time. So and the same with
Bournemouth as well. Fulham has a lot of space.
So
it's Bournemouth and
we're gonna we just sort of struggle to get tickets for those games, but so. I mean, Tristan wants to go to Leeds. I've been to Ellen Road.
I've never been there before. I've been up there. I would love to go there because the atmosphere is brilliant there. It's better than Liverpool and better.
With Ian Wright. But, I'll probably go to Liverpool. I love Liverpool, to be honest with you.
Liverpool.
It's funny.
We went there.
The difference between the Liverpool and Everton fans is like, the Liverpool
fans. Is there a difference? Right. Well, there is a difference. Sorry, excuse me for that. There is a difference. Everton fans have a bit more sort of fight about them. They're more aggressive and slightly more toxic, in my opinion, and a bunch of mugs after what happened with Vieira on the pitch when he kicked the Everton fan. And big up Vieira for that.
Everton are just a bunch of thugs who celebrate staying up.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
And Liverpool,
as far as I'm concerned, Liverpool celebrate.
What's the difference with their fans?
Liverpool celebrate success, and Everton
celebrate failure.
Celebrate failure.
Yeah.
So there's the difference in the two clubs.
One other thing I would say is you went into a pub, right, and it was like you would always, right, I don't know, like if there was a pub for the Liverpool fans, you feel comfortable going into a pub with Liverpool fans. Evertonians, blimey, do you remember the FA Cup game at Selhurst Park? They were all crowded around the pub. They were all looking like they were looking for trouble.
And the thing with Liverpool,
I wouldn't have felt comfortable around them.
When
compared to if I was surrounded by Liverpool man at the pub and that, you know what I mean?
When I went to the 9-0 Liverpool game back in the early 90s. and we went into a pub with Liverpool fans and never felt safer. We went in there, we chatted, and someone put the Beatles song on, all the rest of it, and never felt threatened. They loved it. And even this game, we walked out, was chatting. The Liverpool
we
fans
spoke
were talking to us, saying now,
we had one idiot who ran past saying, "You lot of rubbish X, Y, and Z." I just laughed. I was like, "Okay."
You're always going to get that. But I mean, they were saying how Liverpool fans were saying that we, it was only about sort of 10, 15 games in, but they were saying that they were one of the better teams that they've had
against Liverpool
at Anfield. So they saying how well we played, and I thought we did play well at Liverpool.
I mean, let's be real.
It was just
Liverpool.
The quality of their players is like, it's very difficult to sort of get one over on them.
Yeah, Luke Ford says Leicester Defo had the worst home support. Obviously, we've already spoken about. I mean, they were pretty poor. Leicester. It was quiet. You only had like a row of fans down below who were just standing and making an.
Someone's put the question about Vieira, how it's going to improve. Yeah, we had it at the beginning of the thing. So again, I'll just sort of repeat. We're saying that
new signings,
some new signings. It's just consistency. We got, we've said that. I think all the Palace fans have said that if you turn those draws, I calculate a good 10 points. This was right, a bit iffy. These were 10 definite games. Yeah. Sorry, 10 points, extra 10 points we should have got. And then we lost the game. We didn't win the games because of the management. It wasn't Vieira's fault, but as a team, we didn't manage the game. I mean, the Arsenal game, I was a bit. The Arsenal away game, I think Vieira made a bit of a mistake.
We should have won that game.
I think we should have just kept it the way that it was.
Got the third.
But that's the bit that I want to see us managing. Yeah. When we're winning. And
practice our finishing as well.
And we got to be a bit more
end product, cutting edge.
Yeah, we've just got to put more clinical in front of goal. That's the other thing.
Hasn't a man another good question here, and this is the first. Do you think we are capable of getting European football next season? Next season's the big one.
Listen.
I've got my expectations are up here now. We've had the first season with Vieira. I want to finish in the Europa League.
We've got it. That's
or Conference League, somewhere near there, top 10. Not 12, not 13, not 14.
This season, I wanted us at the end of the season to push hard to get as best we could, which we did. And to be honest with you, I think if the Everton game, if it wasn't the fact that they were desperate for the 3 points, we'd have won that game. To be honest with you,
exactly.
And we'd have really gone up the league. What I want next season is not for us to keep looking over our shoulder whether we're going to go down or not. I want us to look forward. We need to look up that table. We need to look up that table and think, right, okay, that's what we need to aim for. We need to, and every single game, we need to really push every single game to win it. And that's what we need to do. Try and, just move. Each season, you're looking for improvement, all the rest of it. So I think that if we can get these players in, as long as there's some as well. Stuff.
Wan-Bissaka is young still. If he comes in that team, I reckon we have a good chance. Well, our defense: Mitchell, Anson, Gay, Bissaka. But we need a goalkeeper. Yeah. And I think the issue this season, the goalkeepers have kind of let us down. Then we need a good, strong goalkeeper. We sort of need like Sarr, someone, Jose Sarr. I think the Patricio when he was a Wolves, a goalkeeper like that in a team.
I think the other thing as well is that I think that Tottenham are sniffing around our centre half, by the way. So
Mark Gay,
so
I don't think he'll go. I don't think he'll do that. Give him another season, maybe he'll go. But he's still young. He's had one season.
So
it's a bit of a gamble.
So the problem that we always had at Palace is that when you get a player that start, like Elise, to be honest with you, now.
But the thing is that he's injured right now.
I know. But what I'm saying, next season, if he starts to really turn it on and really show us what he can do, then again you're thinking, oh God, who's going to come and snap him up? You know what I mean? So that's the problem we're always going to have.
Some keys are called M4 99 etc. Thoughts on Doucouré from Lens. Renz or Lens? Someone says Renz, someone says Lens.
I think it's Lens.
Sorry, so thoughts on Doucouré from Lens. I think it's Lens. Let's just go with that. Who we are heavily being linked to. Yeah, I mean, I think someone said he's a midfielder, isn't he, Doucouré?
Yeah.
Not the one from Everton, but this guy from the French league.
We don't want the one from Everton.
No, he's. I mean, that guy will probably get us relegated if he ever started to be another Luca. But no, I think he'll do well in the team. I think apparently he's a young player. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really know much about him. I've just seen a bit about him before, and I've heard a lot of Palace fans talking about him. Listen, Vieira seems to know him. He's got a load of contacts in France. He is French, of course. He's a legend in France. Patrick Vieira, World Cup winner. Obviously won a load of silverware around the world. Arsenal in Italy and that as well. You know, Juventus and that. So he's got his contacts. If he can attract some of the best players and the players that want to win, that are hungry, that show ambition, the Courier sounds like he's one of them players. Then let's go for it. Let's bring him in the team. I think he'll do well. You know what I mean? So I would just love to see a solid midfield. I would love to see a bit more, bite up front. If we have a solid defense, if we have a good goalkeeper, who knows if we'll, there's always a chance for us to finish high. And the more players we can get that are young, the
he's
better
22
we'll get.
and he's a CDM.
CDM, yeah. I thought, that's what the guy at the station was mentioning to us.
Yeah, our budget for next. I was asked a question, Alex, about the budget for next season. What would the
our budget, right? Let's think. Our budget. Now, speaking of budget, listen. Speaking of budgets, yeah. Now, right, these are the players we have bought in the past. So overall, right, looking at this. So, we look right here. Will Hughes, he was bought in for 7 mil. For some reason, I thought it was on a free. I don't know about that. Mateta, they're saying it's 12 mil. We bought Mateta. Well, I don't know what. I mean, 12 mil. 8 to 10 mil for Elise. Mark Guy was 25, and Edouard was about 17 to 25 mil. So potentially, I would say our budget. I mean, if we're spending like this season, I mean, I'm just going to make a guess. I'd say about 180 mil. I would 160, 180 mil or something.
At least
Crystal Palace.
At least 100 mil, but I don't know how much money.
You think 100 mil?
I don't know. Well, at least that.
Summer just gone. We spent a load of money.
I don't know how much money we've got. But all I do know is that we've got to be pretty smart when we spend our money, because, as I said before, we can't afford to make mistakes. So, if we buy a player for 50 million, he has got to be, we've got to nail that, because if he turns out to be a flop, then, we're
not. I don't think we're going to be.
The other thing as well to remember next season as well is you've got the World Cup to interrupt.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that'll have a big impact. Massive impact.
Can you imagine that? I mean, I don't know how many of our players are going to be going.
If Gallagher comes to Gallagher, I reckon we'll go to the World Cup.
Well, the thing
Mitchell,
is,
Mitchell, Mark Guy, there's always a chance for that.
I think with our players on the verge of the England squad, if
they
start the season and they want to go and play in the World Cup, they're going to be playing because they want to go and play in the World Cup finals. Obviously, when they come back from the World Cup finals, that's when you might get some interesting results, because if you've been playing in that World Cup and then you come back and then you've got to start playing Premier League, particularly if you've done bad in the World Cup and your confidence can have an effect on the rest of your season. Might have done really well and then you can carry it through. I don't know. But I think that the World Cup will have an effect on the Premier League. So I think the two things that will have one is the
title race,
the 5 subs, and the World Cup. To be honest with you, will have an effect on the teams. But
I mean, someone says in the comments, Hazard the man again. I don't think Gallagher will go to the World Cup if he stays at Chelsea. That is true.
You can't.
He's playing regularly at Palace.
You can't improve your England position from a bench.
I mean, he's playing for England right now because of his form at Palace and his season he's had at Palace.
Exactly.
So why not sign him on another loan deal or permanent?
For Gallagher's age, the last thing I would want to do is stay at Chelsea and come on every other game for the last 20 minutes. What's that? I never fully understand as a professional footballer why you'd want to be happy to stay on the bench. I'd leave the club.
It'll turn out to be another.
If I was at a club, even though that they're obviously paying me a lot of money, if I was at a club, I'd spend all season sitting on the bench. I'd say, look, let me go. I'd rather go. I'd even drop down the league because your football career is short. Okay, you're lucky as a professional footballer. You're probably lucky if you get 10 years out of it. Okay, that's how short it is, and you want to play football. And because your body's only going to be fit for a certain period, so you want to sort of go and play football. Now you might have to drop down even a league or a lesser club and might get lesser money. But surely the idea is to actually go out there every week in, week out and play 90 minutes of football. And Gallagher's not going to get that at Chelsea. He'll get it at Crystal Palace. He won't get it at Chelsea.
Pray to God we get him. I'll be really disappointed if he picks Chelsea over us for next season, because it just shows he's not as ambitious and he's not pushing to play football regularly. That would just be a bit of a letdown for me, in my opinion.
But I was the other thing as well. Next, the teams that are coming up and who's going down, all the rest of it. For me, sometimes what I tend to do is the teams that have finished quite often. You'll find that the teams that have finished the season poorly have a poor season. So next season,
we look at the teams, right? Aston Villa, Southampton, Wolves.
I think
Southampton. I'm not going to lie to you. They could potentially be in another relegation crisis like they were 4 years ago, potentially, because they didn't end the season well. 1 win out of 12.
I know.
Not good, is it?
Wolves finished really poor.
Oh, they were rubbish. Wolves.
Southampton finished poor. Villa not exactly putting up any trees, are they?
I think Villa just allowed up, but you never know. From anything could happen.
So the thing is as well, is that the Premier League every season gets tougher and tougher and tougher.
Because this season, the thing is, this season there's no Burnley, there's no Watford, there's no Norwich.
Yeah, no, but you've got. Don't forget, look, you've got
Fulham. I'm telling you, Fulham are going to learn. They've been relegated twice before. I don't think they're going to go down a third time. At Bournemouth, they got a bit of money behind them. Forest, I can't see them going down. Look at the size of the club and the way they're moving forward.
The Fulham guy who scored 40 goals this season.
Mitrovic.
Yeah,
well, he's not a Prem player. We know that. You never know.
He can't score for toffees in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know.
That jump from the Premier League, from the Championship to is huge. It's absolutely huge. You know,
well, they lost Cavallero. Was it Cavallero from?
So what I'm just saying is that you know, they
never know,
whatever in the Championship. Premier League's a completely different story.
Exactly.
And what I'm saying is so you got Bournemouth, Fulham, and Forest. So they're probably going to be everybody's favourites to go straight back down again. But
you never know.
Probably two of them, I'd say.
I'd say at least two will go down and one will start.
But
shout out Lewis, by the way. Love the content, lads. Keep it up. Appreciate that. Up the Palace, you don't know. Come on.
You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, those teams, all those teams are the ones we got to compete against. And as I say, I think that it's going to be much more difficult to nick points off the top six next season.
It will be a lot. They're going to up their game. Listen, you got Man United with Ten Hag. Arsenal, they got to improve. They need a striker.
Yeah,
Tottenham.
Yeah, Man United. Look, Man United have got about 5 seasons before they start.
Yeah, but I think that they're not going to have as bad a season as this season.
They're not just going to turn it on next season.
I know, but you never know. They'll improve a bit. Ten Hag, he doesn't tolerate any rubbish.
Well, I know, but,
he's already starting to get rid of players now. Do you know what I mean?
Because to be honest with you, a lot of the way these clubs, it comes down from the chairman down, and that's why Arsenal are in a pickle, because their chairman's
their chairman's a pig.
So simple. You know, and I think with Man United as well. I mean, one thing that a lot of this has taught me is that don't sell your club to Americans, because your club will go down the toilet.
Turn up like Burnley and Swansea.
Talk to Burnley fans. I mean, you know, they're in a right old. They're financially at the moment potentially in a right old state, only because they allowed themselves to be taken over by Americans. So, you know, they're the worst of the worst. So
I've got one thing I want to say. So we've got a couple interesting ones here. He reckons, Hazard a man, the three teams that get promoted this season will stay up in his opinion. That could be Forest. It could be Huddersfield, depending on who wins the playoff final this weekend, I believe. And Fulham and Bournemouth. You never know. I mean, who knows what they could do next season?
Look, I mean,
the motivation and momentum will be with them coming up, and then they'll start the season potentially on fire. Look at Brentford. You know what I mean? Look at Huddersfield.
You do have that momentum, to be honest with you. But you know, look, the Premiership is a long, hard slog. And when Brentford came up, they hit the ground running, and then they
fell off a bit, but then they rose up again.
Themselves back up again.
They beat Chelsea for
one. When they start to get a few injuries, they started to drop off. The players came back and they got back in.
Exactly.
But you know, look, you have a squad of players, you have bad injuries, you could, find yourself in a bit of a state, and that's why you need a good squad of players.
Exactly.
But our players, I think we've got a lot of experienced players still in our club that can help the youngsters coming through.
MacArthur, Will.
So yeah, I mean, for me, to be honest with you, I would give MacArthur a year contract, only just to have him at the club, just to have that guy on the training pitch. because I think that I don't know I've never met the guy. I don't know whatever, but I just think having that bloke at the club, on the training pitch, in the dressing room, the guy is so professional.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't speak more highly of the chap. I think just to have him around and helping these youngsters come through, because these youngsters are going to need help from the old, from the experienced players. I know there are some players that are experienced. I don't think probably not as good as giving the assistance to the younger
not
players
good
as they should do.
Sort of. You could say Wilf at times. We've got, speaking of players' contracts and that expired this summer. So obviously we got Jeffrey Schlupp, if it expires at the end of June. Jordan Ayew. Now rumors has it that they're going to give Jordan Ayew a 1-year contract. We were hearing that 2 weeks ago. Still ain't happened. So you never really know. Kiarte, I reckon, will go. Apparently, you were saying there was a bit of a bust up in the
I
dressing
saw
room.
something come through on Twitter that's saying that Kiarte was a bit. He's a bit off with some of the players or something. I don't know.
Now whether that's because he's won the Cup of Nations, he sort of feels like he's a bit of the big man in the dressing room, and he's it's caused a bit of friction within the team potentially.
His form sort of dropped off a bit, but I mean, I don't know. Something just came through on Twitter, I think, on my phone last week.
So we've got James Tompkins here as well. I think he'll go. I think he stays a number at Palace. He's always injured. He's never really getting much game time. Martin Kelly's already gone. We spoke about MacArthur. Charlo Jacques, that Polish defender we signed 4 years ago, hasn't even played a game. He's a laughable signing. And right back to Nathaniel Klein, who is set to sign a 1-year contract extension. This contract, of course, expires this summer, but they're going to get
Klein deserves a contract.
Definitely. He's been brilliant.
Picked his game up.
Yeah.
He's really.
He's improved on his fitness as well.
He's come back from. He's got the end of his career. He's probably going to play a few games or just being the fill-in.
A bit like Ashley Young.
He's
proved us wrong, isn't it?
I mean, he's run. His Southampton game. He's run for the equaliser. I mean,
the assist. It was the assist. What pass for Eze.
He ran down that wing like he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And he was a great little. Right at the end, he does a fantastic.
I thought it was going out. I was just like, no, he's going out playing it. And then Nick whips it over and Eze scores.
Over across. On the run and chips the most brilliant cross you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And Eze just brilliant finishing as and he's another player. I want him to see him push on a bit.
Again, I think he's doing well.
He's doing well.
He came back. He looked a bit lost.
I want to see him. I want to see him a bit more in the middle of the pitch.
I forgot about Eze.
He just needs to again constantly try and improve.
He needs a lot of game time consistency.
Side of it.
The problem is, who do you play, Eze or Gallagher next season? It's gonna be difficult. I notice when they're playing the same team, it just doesn't feel right. You got one pressing, one is a bit naive going forward at times and can't really defend. Eze sometimes he knows when to go forward, or sometimes he does all the hard work.
Gallagher just sticks with me because he puts in the hard graft. But Eze sometimes when he's on the ball, sometimes he's a bit lax. But I mean, when he's on the ball, sometimes he hasn't got any pace, but he goes past players like they're not there, And shout
out for the people in the comments. TY, we love you as well. Luke Ford can see Brentford having a bad second season. Probably they're going to lose Ericsson. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I see. Kai was about agreeing with Idris Guy, who
was that?
Used to wear a rainbow kit.
Who? Kiarte was. Oh, was it? Oh yeah, because of the whole the rainbow laces thing. Yeah, fair enough. If he refused to, that's pretty poor from him. He's like 30 nearly, for God's sake. Kiarte, I think he already is 30. I don't even know, but he should know better, in my opinion. For that, that's not pretty good. When you got players doing that, that's horrible. Cheers.
Yeah, I just want to
love for
again. Thank everybody for supporting Tristan and coming up to us and stuff and all the rest of it.
We've had people ask for photos.
It's been great fun. I mean, for me, an oldie. I mean, I've been watching Palace. I've been telling you stories so much. I actually watched Palace back in the '73. I started watching Crystal Palace. So my first game, I was a Chelsea fan. I was a Chelsea fan from '69 to '73.
Believe it or not, you actually was a supporter of Chelsea.
Chelsea built that new stand, and they doubled the prices, and my dad couldn't afford to take me to Chelsea anymore. So we went to Palace, and my first Palace game was at home to Chelsea. We actually went there as Chelsea fans, and Chelsea won 5-1, I think it was, and Oscar got 4 goals, like stupid. And from then on, we became Palace fans. I mean, look. We haven't won any trophy ever, but I wouldn't have missed it for the world. You know what I mean? It just still been a great.
South London are proud indeed.
When Ian Wright come along, even those bad days when we had Langley in the centre. I mean, I can remember playing Cardiff here one night, and it was like 9,000 Palace fans. It was an awful game. We won 1-0. It was back in the 80s, and then Ian Wright.
They weren't the best times.
Steve Coppell turns around. Ian Wright turns up.
Yeah.
2-1 down at home to Oldham with about 15 minutes to go. Ian Wright comes on. We win the game 3-2. And I mean, it was just fantastic. I can remember going to Bournemouth one day and we were 2-0 down in 10 minutes. Jim Cannon was the centre half. We were 2-0 down after 10 minutes. At half time, we were 3-2 up. That was Palace. It was just brilliant. I mean, even if we didn't, it was one season, we just missed the playoffs, but the football entertainment was brilliant. And the thing was, well, with Ian Wright and Bright, is that we could be playing rubbish, okay? But you always knew.
That's our half for us. They always
you always knew
that
they could. We played Sunderland. We're 1-0 down to Sunderland, and we were rubbish. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Mark Bright and Ian Wright got 2 goals out of nothing. We won the game 2-1, and it was just brilliant. And then he got the Blackburn playoff, and the Burnley game that we won 2-0. I mean, absolutely love it. And I mean, nothing depresses me more when Palace lose, and I can't even watch it on the box.
When Palace lose, time we lose, I don't watch it. I
can't bring myself to watch.
He's never done it at all.
I can't do it. I just cannot do it.
Have you seen the Everton game?
No.
Have you seen the Brighton 3-1 defeat?
I've seen the Brighton. Even if we're on Match of the Day and we've lost, I don't even watch Match of the Day. I can't even watch it. But when we win, fantastic.
Someone says, I reckon. Sorry, Jay. Someone says I think Eriksen could be a good signing, and I think he means for Crystal Palace, Christian Eriksen. Because he's leaving, isn't he? Because they only signed until the end of the season, Brentford, didn't it?
Yeah.
Rumor has it he may go back to Tottenham or someone's. I mean,
he won't go back.
He's not going to come to us, but he would be a good signing in my opinion. I think he'd do well at Palace. Yeah. You know what I mean? But where would you play him over Eze and Gallic? That's the only thing I would say. I don't think we'd sign him because of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean,
South London and proud.
Definitely. We also got some before we end the stream, and I've got some interesting things here, some sort of stats that I've written up on that. Top scorers this season. So the top scorer for us overall, Sahar, with 15 goals in all competitions, 14 Premier League goals. Vieira has gotten the best out of Wolf this season. We haven't said much about him, surprisingly.
I think.
Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I've been a critic of Wolf.
I have as well, trust me.
But
especially the beginning
one thing
of the
I've
year.
always said, and we've always got to recognise, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Wolf.
Okay. If it wasn't, we would not. 5 years ago.
We would not. Not only would we not been here, we would not have stayed in the Premier League. Okay, it's just a fact. Okay, it's just a fact. And so, look, I sort of take it with warts and all. I know that the goals he scores, but sometimes he gives the ball away. His tackling's not great, and sometimes he switches off and all the rest of it. And then he's got his temperament where he throws his toys out.
Brentford.
Someone's pushing him
Brentford
in
on the first day. He was absolutely winding up the Brentford players. He had a go at Vieira on the touchline. He looked like he was in a bad season.
I think I've got to the point now. I accept him for what he is. And the thing is,
I think he's accepted it.
If you took that out of him, he may not be the player that you have, and he'll just be some ordinary.
Maybe he does play better when he's angry.
He's now 29. Wolf's not going to change the way that he plays.
Yeah, he'll be 30 at the end of the year.
Our
time flies.
You just take it, and but I just want to say, if Wolf happens to be watching this, and I'm fantastic if he did. Look, the fans love him. We all love Wolf. He's got us 15 goals this season. The day
I didn't expect that.
The day he either retires or leaves the club, he's just gonna.
It'll be emotional. I'll probably cry. Someone says it about Sahara as well. I was so annoyed with Wolf after the Tottenham away game and that. Listen, I'll be honest. Before that, he was really inconsistent. He gets sent off at Tottenham. He's 29 at the time. Really poor, pathetic. 2 yellows in the space of 2 minutes. Everyone thought he was done. The fans turned on him. He didn't play again till February. He played again in February and he scored a brilliant goal, and that really lifted his confidence from February till the end of the season.
I think Wilson is one of these guys. I think he obviously regrets it the next time he realises what he did was wrong. As I say, at the age of 29, he's not going to learn something different. He's not like if he did this when he was 16, 17, and you get a good manager come in that can get it out and change the way he plays. He's not going to change the way he is. Okay? There's no point in us trying to get him to change the way that he plays and the way that he is. So, and the thing is as well, I genuinely, he does get fouled. And the problem with Will sometimes with his tricky and stuff, and there's his speed. He's not as quick as he used to be.
Yeah.
He does get fouled a lot, and a lot of the referees just let it go and they don't give him the free
Villa, he lost it. Aston Villa. The thing is, the referees know.
Yeah.
If they send them off,
I think
the thing with
Will sometimes, he gets fouled, and the referee plays advantage.
Yeah.
And then Will turns around and has to go at the referee, and the referee's trying to give you advantage, So I can understand it both ways, but there are some referees that will not give him a free kick. I think they go on that pitch and it's like, right, I'm going to judge you by your reputation. I'm not going to give you anything.
My team, John Muscle.
And there are some referees that do it, each challenge should be judged on its challenge and its merit. And I'm afraid you've got some referees out there who prejudge Wilf and when he's playing. And I think that happens with probably a lot of teams and a lot of players.
I think John Moss was the referee sent him off at Tottenham, if I'm not. Yeah, it was John Moss.
But he deserved to get sent off.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you can't really sort of, and the other thing as well is, he needs to improve his penalties because even the ones he scores,
not a penalty taker.
Even the ones, do
you know what? Sorry,
even the ones he scores, they're not great penalties.
I think our best penalty taker is Luca. I reckon it isn't. I know he's been crap.
You can't have a guy in the team.
I don't know. We've
seen
Edouard score one.
Benteke,
we'll never give him a penalty again after what happened 5 years ago, nearly. I don't want to talk about that, but everyone knows what I'm on about. Edouard, I don't know. He's got potential, but he's only taken one penalty.
Yeah,
Haas taken a few.
I'd hate the Chelsea semi-final if that had gone to penalties. I would have walked out of the stadium because
you weren't confident.
We haven't got 5 penalty takers in our team.
Yeah, Elise, you never know. And Anderson, someone said Anderson can take penalties. I've never seen him take one.
There's only the best penalty taker in the world at the moment is Harry Kane. I mean,
what?
Every time, look, that guy.
Are you being serious?
If I had to, if my life,
he's good. He's good.
If my life was on it, if my life was on the line, and I had to choose someone to score a penalty, it'd be him.
I'd say the best penalty taker overall is Mark Noble. Against Man U, but overall, he's always confident. In the past, when I've seen him play, so confident. But anyway, it's about Palace, not West Ham.
The most foul player in the Prem, exactly.
Probably either him or Grealish. Grealish and Zaha get fouled too many times to count.
Grealish, 100 million for a ball boy.
Oh, did you see him? Did you see him all drunk the other day? Did you see him? He was absolutely slating his players. He was so tipsy. Honestly, it was beyond.
They're not at Sellers Park. If you ever, particularly towards the end, just watch it. He's running around trying to get the ball off the ball and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, what are you like? I mean, £100 million for a ball boy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? What a disappointment. I know Man City won the Premiership. But honestly, what a disappointment.
Well, Man City got Haaland next season. What do you think of that? I know we're going off the topic of it. You don't know.
He's been.
He's good, Haaland. He's brilliant. He's a world-class player.
He's been playing in the Bundesliga, though.
That is true.
It's the
fact Madrid wanted him.
It's the Premiership, man. This is the Premiership.
Well, look at Lukaku. £112 million Chelsea's spent on that.
What?
We should make a video of plots of the
these
season.
Big clubs have got money to burn. I mean, can you just imagine if Palace had spent 90 million on Lukaku?
But you know what's funny though? They spent 112 million last summer. Chelsea have been given 200 to spend this summer, and they spent last season. They didn't even spend half of that on the. It was mad, honestly. But anyway, I've got a few more stats before we end. Gallagher got 8. Mateta coming third with 7 goals. They're our top 3 goal scorers. 60 goals in all competitions scored all season. That's a big improvement compared to our last 2 seasons under Roy. 14 clean sheets all season. That kind of surprised me when I saw that. I thought we kept a few, 9. But 14,
the thing that we've
had better seasons.
Is
but I'll take that.
The important thing this season, we've improved. But we need to push on. We need to keep pushing.
We need to be consistent as well.
And as fans, we need to make sure that the players keep pushing. So that as soon as they start to take their foot off the pedal, we need to make sure they know about it.
Before I end the season, since we come back from COVID, this is our first full season. Again, we've been to more away games. And, Palace fans are sort of voicing their opinions more, not just on this channel, but on Eagle Eye Football, on, I forgot this other Eagle channel, which I don't really pay much attention to. You know what I'm on about, innit? I forgot the name, but they never said anything to me. I haven't talked to me. But yeah, do you think the club overall is growing and getting bigger? It's getting more diverse. There's more people from around the world tuning into Palace. I've had fans from China. America, Spain,
I mean,
Australia. They contacted me.
Eagles Den,
Eagles Den. Yeah. Sorry, I think my mind was black.
Ever since I've been going to Palace, it's like a potential Palace. And
have we filled up our potential since then? Since when you used to start?
No, I mean, for me personally, right, we are probably the only sort of club in the South London sort of area. And
the big club, the pride of South London.
My own opinion, if someone came in who was a billionaire, bought the club, and was to go away and build a fantastic 50,000 stadium or 60,000, we'd fill it up. You know, I think we would get into a position, you know, we had the right, real substantial money behind us, we'd fill it up.
I mean, I was amazed with the amount of supporters we had at Wembley.
Yeah,
there was so many different supporters. There were supporters from Ireland, I heard. You know, it was so diverse. I felt real comfortable. I felt real proud to be a Palace supporter that day.
Because I think Palace supporters. I think you'd pull in fans, lots of fans from, you know, a wider area. The other thing I like with Palace is the diversity as well. I mean, you know,
it's brilliant.
You feel so comfortable at Palace.
Like people sort of like, if someone said to me, if someone like asked a random supporter in the Premier League or who's English and that, what is the most diverse club in the Premier? You probably say Man U and Arsenal. But there's a lot of diversity at Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? It's in South London. You know, in South London, there's like, you know, there's a lot of like cultures in that: Jamaican, African, Albanian. Do you know what I mean? Indian, Oriental, and that. Do you know what I mean? It's really growing, and I'm really pleased about that. The more we can keep building, the more we can let people know who we are as a club and what our identity is. Do you know what I mean? Going forward, what we represent, especially the amount of players that we attract in that. I think look at the amount of players we've got who are black and that. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's important for clubs to have it to keep, because I think that's the problem that particularly Everton has struggled with. They lost their identity.
Burnley as well, another club.
Well, Burnley, the thing with Burnley is they're always going to struggle.
Yeah, but they never get.
But I mean,
like, there's one thing I would say here: they've lost their identity a bit, Burnley, but they never attract like as much diverse players compared to like Liverpool, Everton, Palace, or I don't know, like even like Newcastle.
I think they probably. I think they just found it difficult to. You know, bring the players they wanted to the. I mean, if they had a better start to the season, they'd still be in the Premiership. I mean, you know. That's what I'm saying. You get a poor start to the Premiership, and you're fighting the rest of the season.
So we're just about to end now. Out of 10, what would you give this season? We finished 12th. So
I would give this
out of 10.
I would give it an 8, to be honest with you. I think an 8.
I'd give it difficult.
Or a very good 7.5.
I'd give it 7.5. I think it's been a good season, but there's a lot of games we dropped too many points in. We sort of didn't learn from our mistakes at times. Like, I'll start with the negative sort of. I start with the like we did, you know, we just sort of like we're dropping too many points. Our end product and our cutting edge weren't as best at times, you know. But it's a learning curve. The positives were we went to Wembley, we finished 2 places higher than we did last season. We scored more goals. Players like Wilf and Gallagher really stepped up and were consistent at times. They were playing out of their skin, and I've seen some unbelievable football. The fans, the atmosphere has been superb. You know, the club developing and improving its identity, and you know, the diversity and all of this and everything has been a massive improvement and a big achievement, especially when we went to Wembley. 34,000 Palace fans. Come on, it's what I want to see. You know, I've really enjoyed the atmosphere. It's just pleased. I feel proud to be a Palace fan. So 7.5 out of 10. I mean, last season, but the season before this season under Roy, I would have given it a 4 or 3. So it's a big improvement.
Yeah.
And if we can get Europa League Conference, you can finish in the top 10. I'll probably give it an 8.5, potentially a 9, maybe even a 10 if everything goes well, if we're consistent enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of optimistic for next season, but I've been here before with Palace.
You know, don't say that. It's a new era.
Yeah, I know. I just
got some good players, a young, passionate squad.
I've been here so many times.
Start the season well though. Next time
we need to hit the ground running.
Yeah, we got it. For anyone, it'll be season at home.
Yeah,
it's always either a draw or Huddersfield, West Brom. Do you know what I mean? Be really nice.
I'd hate to play one of the teams that comes up because they normally sort of, you know.
Yeah,
got the momentum.
Imagine if we have Brighton at home on the first day of West Ham.
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they do that.
I think so.
On the computer, the way they do the computer,
you never know. Anything's possible in the Premier League. But anyway, it's been a pleasure. Love the support. Love the questions. Shout out to people on Instagram with the questions. Shout out to people in the chat. Shout out Eagle Eye Football. Shout out my guy James. Shout out all you lot in the chat and that. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Road to 2K. My socials will be in the link description below. Cheers, Dad, for being on.
That's
been a brilliant season.
Thank everybody for joining.
This is my best season yet. This channel has been amazing. We're growing. Next season, we're going to get better. You know, potentially being a homestead where more away vlogs. You know, the home vlogs will be better where this season as well. More of an atmosphere, more of a vibe. So cannot wait. Fingers crossed if all goes to plan. So yeah, just put some comments down. You know, shout me out, anyone out. You know, bigging up yourself for being a Palace, a Palace supporter and that. Yeah, boy, I'm tired. I'm knackered. I've had a long day. Sure, you lot had as well, work anywhere in that school. So up the Palace. We'll see you lot. It's been a brilliant season. Cannot wait.
Take care.
See you lot.
Cheers. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye. Oh, sorry, lock up. In a bit.